Zafar Hilali's former Pakistan ambassador to the United States, Chandan Mitra is editor-in-chief of the Pioneer and member of parliament, Tariq Azim, former information minister of Pakistan, Maruf Raza, strategic affairs expert. Let me come to you, Mr. Hilali, straight. What can this achieve? Because every time, Mr. Hilali, every time there's been talk of cricket diplomacy, people in India have expected a lot, and generally, the government and in place in Islamabad has let the people of India down. So do you think the best thing is to not expect anything from this Mohali thaw?
Well, I can't hear you very well because there's an enormous amount of static, but I got the gist of your question. I think that this time, frankly, it will not suffice if we just have joint statements and, as I say, literature. We need deeds. There are many things that these two people can do. There are many things concrete steps which they can agree on, even if it is visas and passports and visits to religious shrines, even if it is Sir Creek. Let us get on and sign some agreements, because quite frankly, the people have had it up to their gills. They can't. Every time these talks start, they end in some kind of statement, and that's that. It doesn't wash anymore. So I hope this time both sides realize that the public expectation is that deeds emerge from these meetings and not mere literature.
Well, that's what we expected. That's what Rajiv Gandhi expected in February 1987, when at the height of the tension, he let Zia-ul-Haq cross the border and watch a match in Jaipur. Chandan Mitra, what do you think?
Well, you see, I am absolutely convinced nothing will come of this meeting. But my bigger worry is that last time when Manmohan Singh invited then President Musharraf and to watch the match, India lost. So I hope that is not going to that fate will not befall us, and at least this time the focus should be on the match and India should win this match. That's first. Because I'm sure that nothing of any consequence will come of it. You don't hold these kind of, impromptu summits. These are not but TV debate where you tell a person a subject 10 minutes in advance. Now this is exactly what has happened here. That just 48 hours notice and you want to hold a summit. There is no preparation, there are no ground rules, there is no visible demonstrable movement from Pakistan on 26/11, which is the issue on which talks broke down. Your home secretaries have met today. They are going through plodding, jotting down points painstakingly. Summit is a long way off. You can't do these, absolute dramatic movements and hope that there will be a great breakthrough. These things don't work, and I'm absolutely positive it will not work.
Absolutely. Well, okay, we remember 2005, the last match that Manmohan Singh and Musharraf saw. I think that was at Firozshah Kotla. We expected so much out of it. Nothing happened. Tariq Azim, you see the point of view in India today is strong and sharp. Come and watch a cricket match. Don't fool us with this whole talk about, let's improve the relationship. Or as Zafar Hilali is saying today, let's get on with something. Let's sign something. We've seen the friendship series in 2004. Nothing came of it. Tariq Azim.
I just thought I would butt in here and say, of course one does not expect them to sign.
Yes, Mr. Hilali, go on.
I said, of course one does not expect them to sign agreements at the stadium. They're meeting for a few hours. But this talk enables each other to gauge their mindsets. It's very important to know for both leaders how much elasticity there is in a rubber band.
Sure.
And it is that will carry on and impact itself on the talks that are going to be held subsequently. Of course, I don't mean that they will walk away with a sheaf of agreements from this meeting.
Okay, one argument is that the elasticity of the Indian rubber band of patience snapped after 26/11. But Tariq Azim, what do you think?
I think I agree that we should not expect too much from a one-day visit. It is very nice and gracious of the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to throw the ball in Pakistan's court. I hope it is not a googly or Bhaji's off spinner which might throw us off the track. It should be seen as a new beginning. And I don't think, we are going to sign any agreements, but I understand, I was just talking to Rahman Malik, the Interior Minister, a few minutes ago, and I understand he's accompanying the Prime Minister. So if there are any questions regarding 2611, I'm sure he will be there in person, so maybe something can be, had of that meeting. Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, our Home Secretary, is there. So these are the talks, which are already taking place, and hopefully they could lead to better things. But don't expect too much. There's 63 years of poisoning of minds. It will take time to detoxicate, things, we should not expect too much from one day visit.
Oh,
but it's a good start.
Yes.
And I hope that, it's a straight ball which is played back by Pakistan with a straight bat.
Well, I don't know who's bowling the googly here, because we haven't even got to the first over. We don't even know whether the ball is turning. But at the same time, Maroof, I know you're a cynic in this. You won't agree with what Mr. Hilali said. But you go back to 2005, when Musharraf and Manmohan Singh watched that match in Firozshah Kotla, many people say it did begin, a serious discussion on Jammu and Kashmir. It didn't come to fruition because Musharraf was thrown out. But there was a process which had begun.
Well, Arnab, I've always firmly maintained that for any movement in India-Pakistan which has to be substantial, you've got to have a political leader, or you've got to have a leader who can make concessions and survive. So in that case, it was Musharraf who was willing to make concessions, and he knew his position was pretty stable. 2 years down the line, Musharraf became extremely unstable because of the lawyers' agitation and everything else, the Lal Masjid incident and everything else that followed. So therefore, he lost the ability to deliver, and whatever he claims and his supporters claim that we were very close to an agreement never fructified into anything. But more importantly, there is a googly that has already been thrown in. You have Pakistan's Interior Minister Rahman Malik saying earlier in the day that we are watching Pakistan's team, that they shouldn't get into match fixing, thereby implying if they win on merit, if they lose because of match fixing. Thereby, the Indian possibility of winning the match purely on its merit has been ruled out by Rahman Malik, which is not a very happy beginning. But the other side, I want to bring in two other points, and one is that both Manmohan Singh and Prime Minister Jalani don't have the political weight behind them to be able to deliver substantially. What they are doing actually, as you have said, is photo op, and more importantly, the current Home Secretary level talks are happening in the shadows of what are expectations of possible delivery on the part of both Prime Minister.
That's my question
remember,
to Mr. Hilali.
The mood at Rawalpindi and how the Pakistan military is willing to make concessions on the 2611 case is finally going to be the barometer of success of Indo-Pakistan relations.
But that's my question to Mr. Hilali. Mr. Hilali, 1987, Zia-ul Haq came. It was followed by the most vicious terror campaign that Pakistan unleashed in Jammu and Kashmir. We know if the friendship series happened in 2004, we know what happened after that. There is no basis on which the sort of well-meaning statements you're making today, or the kind Gilani may make, will be taken at face value anymore. The mood on this side has changed.
Well, I really, it is a bit much that you people, having killed 100,000 Kashmiris in Kashmir, keep accusing Pakistan of launching terror movements. Now let's
What
forget
happened in
about that.
1987?
Let's not go into that,
No.
because you have been killing people in Kashmir for a long time, but I don't want to go into that. I want to concentrate on something, 2611. Now you must have seen, as a result of WikiLeaks, that there is a telegram from the American embassy which says that the entire case of India against Pakistan and the involvement of the Pakistanis and the involvement of Hafiz Saeed is based on the statement of Kasab, corroborated by Shahabuddin and Ansari. And it goes on to say that Shahabuddin and Ansari, their statements have been rejected by the lower courts of India. It has been rejected by the Bombay High Court.
No, what is this?
Sir,
And
what
that
is
the
this?
evidence
Are we getting
and
into a
sir.
legal debate
the
on
corroborative part of the
Chandan.
statement has been ruled out.
Chandan Mitra wants to come in.
Sadly,
One second, sir. You're being rebutted. I'm going to allow one rebut right now. One second. Chandan Mitra is rebutting you. Go ahead.
I'm appalled. I'm appalled at Mr. Hilali. Is he trying to say that Pakistan had nothing to do with 26/11, that they were mere innocent bystanders who were very deeply, shocked and upset that 26/11 happened? Is this his argument? No, whether it's based on Kasab's testimony
don't ask these poignant questions. I'm sorry, these kind of questions don't wash. The fact of the matter is that the Indian High Court in Bombay has rejected the statement of Ansari and Shahabuddin corroborating Ajmal Kasab. They had gone further, and now it seems.
I am asking you.
No, 1 second, General.
I am asking you whether you think that Pakistanis were innocent bystanders in 26/11. Please tell me. It was JUD.
Listen, my friend.
Mr. Hilali, Mr. Hilali.
I just want to come in one. Gentlemen, I want to draw you in 1 minute. Gentlemen, 1 minute. 1 minute, please, gentlemen. Just 1 minute. I'm just saying here tonight, do we learn the lessons of history? We remember the winter of 1986, Tariq Azim and Mr. Hilali will remember when General Sundarji had launched Operation Brass Tacks, which was seen to be India's response to Pakistan's ventures in Siachen, attempts to fan militancy in Punjab and Kashmir. We know what happened at that time. Immediately after that, President Zia, after coming and watching the match as a diversionary tactic, continued to use the policy of terrorism to make India bleed, in his words, 1,000 cuts. That's why tonight we are debating, does this whole cricket diplomacy thing work?
I tell you that the policy of state-sponsored intrusions into Kashmir was the result of state-sponsored terror by India in Kashmir. One action begat the other. Why do you people forever forget that fact?
Maruf's rebuttal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's hogwash. Then this is hogwash. For God's sake, now.
Don't remind you of what you've been doing in Baluchistan.
1 minute.
What about the killing of Bukti? What about the killing of Bukti? What you are doing in Baluchistan?
What are you doing in the 148 districts in India?
Goswami,
which are outside your control?
Now listen,
I'm allowing Tariq Azim to come in. Mr. Hilali, I'm just letting Tariq Azim come in. 1 second, gentlemen.